Princess Celestia's Ruby Raspberry Tubby. Observe the common equestrian pony in her natural habitat. An image of plausible, undeniable adorability looked up from where she had her muzzle buried in a box full of pardon me. I mean, partaking in her late afternoon princessly repast.
I find your tendency to speak to your friend Thin Air just a little disconcerting,
My lady Princess Celestia said, doing her best to look indignant. The look was somewhat sullied by the dark chocolate donuts impaled upon her stately horn. I'm simply enjoying a little intelligent conversation from time to time. Please don't mind me, my lady, I said reassuringly.
But I do mind,
My lady muttered irritably. Granted, perhaps my lady is a not so common equestrian pony, but perhaps this is a more fortunate for the rest of the universe. But for the purposes of studying pony anatomy, she will be adequate.
What are you insinuating? My lady raised a perfect eyebrow, not unlike a royal guillotine. In fact, that is why we are here today, to study the intricacies of pony anatomy. In my long tenure as the butler to the equestrian royal family, I have made it a chief project to perfect the knowledge of pony anatomy down to a science. This is meant to not only be for personal gain, but also for the benefit of all. Now, equestrian ponies are a friendly race, most of the time, at least when they are not staring daggers at you, waving their pointy horns distractingly at your face. Every bit of them, including their anatomy, was designed to maximize their friendship potential. First-time visitors from Earth often make the common beginner's mistake of drawing parallels between equestrian ponies and earthling equines. It would be more apt to compare them, say, to a Swiss Army knife of friendship. They even come with that blunt little doohickey nobody ever knows what to do with. Pardon? What? Where?
My lady looked around at her tail. My lady was very kindly volunteered herself for our first foray into terra incognita, that is, the pony anatomy.
I did what?
My lady paused in the middle of turning round and around to look at her flank to balk at me. Almost every single part of a pony's anatomy is a petty zone. Areas of their bodies that are completely culturally acceptable and most comfortable to pet. In each zone is numbered, starting with petting zones 1, 2, 3. My lady chose this moment to roll her eyes. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. My lady's eyes had grown as large as saucers. 20? She spluttered in disbelief. 34 have been identified to date, with new zones described almost every other week, whenever I feel particularly adventurous. Now let us begin with the most obvious feature, the fuzzy wuzzy. A pony's entire surface area is covered in the softest, most velvety fur, designed for maximum petting comfort. There are textures to please everyone, from silky velvets for the more discerning connoisseurs, to the fluffle puffs for the adventurous beginners. These are helpfully colour-labelled for our convenience, much like poisonous mushrooms and dangerous toads are.
Dangerous toads, indeed,
my lady muttered darkly. The extensive colour code index is much too long to explore here and can easily be referred to in the appendix. But to provide you with a few choice examples, blue fuzzy wuzzies are about as smooth and aerodynamic as a fine Italian sports car. They also tend to be about as fast and loud and can be quite a challenge to catch for cuddles. However, they have a tendency to crash, most often into the nearest living object. In one experiment, I once stood in the middle of an empty field, devoid of any features for miles. A blue Pegasus still managed to crash land on me. This tends to be the most opportune moment to sneak in a cuddle or two on these otherwise speedily elusive blue ponies. Blue Fuzzy Wuzzies tend to be an average cuddle factor of 450 microlunars.
Micro what?
My lady frowned.
Did you just name the unit for cuddliness after my sister?
As my lady helpfully implied, the universal standard for fuzzy wuzzy cuddliness is Princess Luna, whose cuddleness factor is defined as 1 lunar units. Cuddliness is a function of the fuzzy wuzzy softness and fuzziness and...
Huzzah! Our subject finally recognized the universality of our cuddliness. Let the cuddlings be doubled!
A dark figure hanging upside down from the ceiling above us declared. She detached herself from the ceiling before somersaulting upright and landing nimbly next to her sister.
Good afternoon to you too, Luna.
I gave my other mistress, Princess Luna, a nod of greetings. Thank you for coming as planned.
'Tis not a problem, dear butler. Forsooth, this moment hath been ordained to happen for aeons.
Luna declared, throwing a hoof imperiously into the air.
How much time do you two waste together?
My lady could only sigh.
Not enough.
We answered together, in stereo, before giving each other a fist hoof bump. Now, returning to my little lecture, other notable fuzzy wuzzy colours include purple. Much like it is back on Earth, purple denotes danger. Lavender ponies are very unstable and volatile, and are prone to spontaneously combusting. Approaching them is dangerous enough, let alone cuddling them. However, with the high risk comes high reward, as their cuddle factor measures an average 820 microlunars.
How did you manage to measure that?
Luna asked the million-bit question. It wasn't easy, but my will is iron, and my suit is asbestos. I nodded sagely.
Butler,
My lady began, while idly drawing circles on the carpet with her forehoof. She gave an awkward gulp before shaking her head.
Never mind.
Ah, yes, to date there is only one pony whose fuzzy wuzzy cannot be quantified. My lady Princess Celestia. Like the deity she is, her fuzzy wuzzy is on a divine scale beyond the reach of us mere mortals.
Butler,
my lady whispered, turning a shade of red.
Like her weight!
Luna agreed sagely.
Lulu, sister,
my lady gasped, her face the very picture of pony indignation. She said it, not me. Now, while we're on the subject there, fuzzy wuzzies, I would like to digress a little and touch upon a specific part of their fuzzy wuzzies. Towards the part you might consider their rear, there is an area dedicated to the flank label, colloquially called the cutie mark. Much like how their fuzzy wuzzies are color-coded for us, each and every pony is hopefully labeled with a flank label that signifies a pony's place in the universe. For example, Luna's flank label is that of a moon, signifying her to be the local deity of the moon. My Lady Princess Celestia's is that of the sun, signifying her to be really, really hot.
But she's single because she burns anyone who comes close.
Luna sighed.
What?
My lady stammered. She is also the point around which everything revolves around.
Oh, so she thinks.
Luna sniggered. Ah, that brings me back to the subject of fuzzy wuzzies. Regardless of their fuzzy wuzzy colour, all ponies have the natural ability to turn their fuzzy wuzzy into one common colour, red, quite like a chameleon. However, unlike a chameleon, this evolutionary function is designed to seek attention rather than hide. Notice how my lady is very kindly demonstrating this state to us. Observe how her marshmallow white fuzzy wuzzy is slowly transforming a most glorious red.
I am not blushing,
my lady snapped, her cheeks glowing brilliantly. My lady is indeed correct. You may be fooled into thinking this is a pony blushing. Make no mistake, this cannot be further from the truth. This is simply a metamorphosis of their entire fuzzy wuzzy into a new state of heightened sensitivity, one called Pet Me Please. To further explain this phenomena, it would be important to draw your attention to another part of the pony's anatomy, the scritcher scratch, also known as petting zone 1. To the uninitiated, this may seem like the pony's ears. They are in fact much akin to radio antenna masts, highly receptive to tactile stimulation. This is more so in the Pet Me Please state. Observe how my lady's ears are now standing to attention. No, they are not, my lady fervently denied, ears twitching dangerously. Failure to lavish this part with pettings, especially when ponies are in the Pet Me Please state, will lead to a potentially lethal state called the pouty snout. Notice how my lady is very helpfully demonstrating the pouty snout to us. I am not pouting. You may wonder how a pony could possibly talk and pout at the same time. This is a godly skill, unique to the divine sun deity that is my lady, and should never be attempted at home.
Butler.
It's true, Luna agreed sagely.
It is a skill that is only possible to achieve with chicks sculpted through thousands of years of cake gorging, otherwise known as trial of diabetes. It is not for the faint of heart.
But if you ever find your pony in a pouty snout state, fret not. There is a simple and effective cure. Ponies have an easy reset button, also known as the boop button, or petty zone 2. Pushing them like so is called a boop. A successful boop will cause their little muzzles to scrunch up most adorably, just as my lady is helpfully demonstrating. You will notice them go cross-eyed before rebooting and forgetting everything that just transpired within the last 10 minutes, including their pouty snout stage. What? My lady blinked, seemingly rather confused. They are rather defenseless and vulnerable in this dazed state. As such, it is important to reassure them and make sure they feel safe and secure. This is best done by giving them a good, tight cuddle delivered to an exact targeted locations upon their anatomy. This is a good opportunity to explore petting zone 3, otherwise known as the huggle-snuggle zone, which to the untrained eyes may appear to simply be the pony's chest. In fact, as you can see, my lady wears a paytroll, a chest piece that hopefully indicates the exact location of her huggle-snuggle zone. As an aside, the Elements of Harmony, Equestria's weaponized friendship program, takes a similar form as they are similarly activated by cuddles. For more information on this, please read my user manual on the Elements of Harmony, entitled Your Harmony, Pony and You. To deliver a cuddle to her huggle-snuggle zone, simply approach her while she is in her dazed state and wrap your arms around her neck, pulling her huggle-snuggle zone toward yourself. Keep in mind, maximum contact between the zone and yourself makes for maximum results. An effective cuddle would calm your pony down, signified by them relaxing, visibly, sometimes going as far as sitting back on their haunches as my lady is doing. This exposes the most coveted petting zone, X. This is part of the pony anatomy that eludes most of the most experienced pony enthusiasts, often appearing to be nothing more than a simple tummy. This is in fact the Rubby Raspberry Tubby, also named after the acclaimed Professor Raspberry, known to be the first pony to scientifically describe its natural function. In fact, I was his first audience. I recall his inaugural lecture on the subject where he delivered personally to me over his 10th mug of Zap apple cider in a very hospitable pub in Appaloosa. It is a well-known fact that ponies require a minimum dose of 1 tubby rubby a day. It is the basic need, about as crucial as air, water, love, and cakes for them. In failure to fulfill this need can cause these poor ponies to languish in a corner before withering and shriveling up like a prune. Professor Raspberry purported that the reason ponies are so evolutionarily geared towards friendliness is because this is a very crucial need. While the tenuous continuality of the pony race is a testament to their ability to fulfill the needs themselves, the arrival of humanity in Equestria has been instrumental in securing the safety of the pony race for centuries to come. Our hands are apparently incredibly suited to delivering this tubby rubbing with exceptional efficiency. So, next time you see a pony, please do give them a tubby rub and help make sure they live another day.
We have need of one now, butler.
Luna declared, throwing a hoof into the air commandingly.
Dangerously so.
Some ponies, such as Luna, are good at expressing their need for a tubby rub. Now observe, the effective tubby rub shall quickly cause a pony to roll on her back, their hooves twitching helplessly in the air like so. Notice how expertly Luna demonstrates this, how she coos in satisfaction as her ears twitch. The cooing signifies that her goo-goo gauge is filling up effectively, ensuring her survival for yet another day. Unfortunately, some ponies are not as vocal about their needs. These ponies are more at risk of dying from want-a-rub. A good neighbour would be quick to identify such ponies and be sure to visit them at least once a day, breaking through their windows if necessary. I was once proclaimed Canterlot's Hero of the Year after breaking every single stained glass window in my lady's abode. Speaking of, my lady here is one such pony who requires me to approach her at least once a day for this.
I am not.
My lady lied.
There is no need for... Oh.
As you can see, once administered, even the most reluctant ponies quickly become amiable to one's expert ministrations. Notice how her luscious tail swishes to and fro, signifying how effective the tubby rubs are. While delivering tubby rubs, it is important to keep an eye out for the pony's hooves, specifically that part called the buck-a-trot. Do not let their soft marshmallow-like appearance and feel fool you. These are specifically designed to deliver one of ponykind's favourite gestures of friendship, the bro hoof, which to any other race pretty much amounts to unarmed combat. One bro hoof from a single fashionista unicorn can render an entire squadron of ace Pegasus flyers incapacitated. The stallion equivalent of the buckatrot is the alicorn slinger, designed to launch weaponized friendship warheads, quite often the stallion's own wife, and the unsuspecting elder gods. For further information on how Equestria weaponizes friendship, please refer to my lengthy dissertation on Equestria's weapons of mass distraction. Once you have delivered enough tubby rubs, you would soon develop the reflexes you need to dodge the twitching and flailing buckatrots. If you don't, then consider yourself a martyr to the natural selection. Your sacrifice to ponydom will be celebrated every Tuesday, along with millions of others who have fallen in the preservation of ponykind. Now, the second function of the rubby raspberry tubbies is the blowing of the raspberries. It is a simple act, whereupon the raspberry giver would cup his or her mouth upon the recipient's rubby raspberry tubby, ensuring a tight seal with his or her lips, before blowing hard as possible. The resulting sound is the stuff of legends. In fact, in one pony myth, the sun was created when the alicorn god Gaia delivered a raspberry upon the alicorn's goddess Solaris. This, in particular sacred act, one that should only be done when one intends to propose to one's special sewn pony and is ready to risk life and limb. Professor Raspberry codified this in his first law of raspberry. Once you've raspberried some pony, they'll either marry you or kill you. As such, marriage proposals in Equestria are quite literally a matter of life and death. In fact, some experts believe this is the reason for the interesting gender ratio imbalance in equestrian society. For further information on this, read another of my dissertations entitled On Equestria's Endangered Species List, The Pony Stallion. Are you all right, my lady? I asked, realizing my lady has become as tense as a board. Are you going to demonstrate that too? She asked, her voice barely 2 octaves above her usual. I haven't written my will yet, I'm afraid, I said simply. Can you write it now, please? My lady suggested. Oh,